What if I told you that the very reason you don't have what you want is because you're trying too hard to get it? Alan Watts once said that life is like a spinning whirlpool. The more you fight the current to stay afloat, the faster you sink. But the moment you relax, you float. Today we're diving into the backwards law and why trusting the universe is the only way to finally unlock the abundance you've been chasing. We live in a world that worships the grind. In the United States, we are raised on a diet of hustle harder, manifest through sheer force, and make it happen. We are taught that if we aren't stressed, we aren't working. If we aren't clutching our goals with white knuckles, we aren't serious. But let's look at your life for a moment. Think about the times you've chased a person, a job, or even a feeling. The harder you chased, the further it ran. Alan Watts, the man who brought Eastern philosophy to the West with a whiskey in one hand and a smile in his voice, called this the law of reversed effort. He compared it to trying to smooth out rough water with your hands. The more you splash, the more ripples you create. To make the water calm, you must leave it alone. Abundance is exactly like that water. It doesn't come because you demanded it. It comes because you finally stopped disturbing the surface. Write in the comments, are you taking life more seriously than necessary? Just writing yes or no is enough. The illusion of the ego. Why is it so hard to trust? Because we've been lied to. We've been told that we are separate from the universe. We think of ourselves as little egos, trapped in bags of skin, fighting against an external world that is cold, indifferent, and scarce. Watts would laugh at this. He'd say, you don't come into this world. You come out of it like a wave comes out of the ocean. When you realize you are the universe, the idea of trusting it changes. You aren't trusting a stranger. You are trusting your own heartbeat. You don't wake up every morning and worry if your heart will beat or if your lungs will breathe. You trust the process because it is you. So why do we treat our bank accounts, our careers, and our relationships with such frantic suspicion? The US audience knows the feeling of burnout better than anyone. It's the national epidemic, and burnout is simply the physical manifestation of a soul that has forgotten how to trust. It is the result of trying to will the universe into a specific shape, but the universe is much larger than your willpower. Imagine you are standing by a beautiful clear pond. Suddenly someone steps in and stirs up the mud at the bottom. The water becomes brown, murky, and thick. You want to see the bottom again. You want the clarity. What do? If you reach in and try to push the mud down, you only stir it up more. If you try to filter it with your fingers, you create more chaos. The only solution, the only one that has ever worked in the history of time, is to sit on the bank, fold your arms, and wait. You do nothing. You trust that the nature of mud is to settle, and the nature of water is to be clear. This is the secret to abundance. Most of us are living in muddy water lives. We are frantically stirring the mud of our finances and our anxieties, wondering why we can't see the gold at the bottom. Abundance isn't something you create, it's something that is revealed when you stop making a mess of your mind. Watts used the analogy of the cat. Have you ever noticed a cat sitting by a mouse hole? It doesn't pace back and forth. It doesn't check its watch. It doesn't worry about whether it's worthy of catching the mouse. It is a picture of total, relaxed alertness. It is trusting its own nature. When you trust the universe, you aren't becoming lazy. This is the biggest misconception. Trusting isn't doing nothing. It's doing everything with a hollow heart. In Zen, they call it Wu Wei, effortless action. It's the state of a top-tier athlete in the zone or a musician lost in a solo. They aren't trying to play the notes are playing them. When you move into this state, abundance stops being a goal and starts being a symptom. Money begins to flow not because you're a slave to it, but because you've become a clear channel for value. Opportunities appear because you finally have the eyes to see them, rather than eyes blinded by the dust of striving. I know what you're thinking. If I let go, I'll lose everything. If I stop worrying, I'll go broke. Alan Watts would tell you that you're like a man hanging off a cliff, clutching a branch for dear life. You're exhausted. Your muscles are screaming. You are terrified that if you let go, you'll fall to your death. But the fog is thick, and you can't see that just 2 feet below your dangling boots is solid ground. Your worry is that branch. It's not actually saving you. It's just keeping you tired. When you let go of the branch, you don't die. You land. You realize that the ground has been there the whole time, supporting you. Abundance is the ground. Scarcity is the hallucination we have while we're hanging onto the branch. The United States is a land of infinite opportunity, yet we are the most anxious people on earth. Why? Because we have forgotten how to land. We think the branch is our only hope. So how do you actually trust? It starts with a radical shift in perspective. You must stop viewing the universe as a vending machine where you put in hard work and get out rewards. Instead, view it as a dance. In a dance, you don't aim for a specific spot on the floor. The point of the dance is the dance itself. When you treat your work, your art, and your life as a dance, when you do it for the sheer joy of the movement, the universe begins to dance with you. This is when the miracles happen. The random phone call from a client, the accidental meeting with a mentor, the unexpected check in the mail. These aren't accidents. They are the resonance of a person who is finally in tune with the frequency of the whole. You have stopped being a part, fighting the whole. You have become the whole. As we close this journey, remember the words of the Master. To have faith is to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float. If you are watching this right now and you feel overwhelmed, take a breath. The universe isn't asking you to figure it all out today. It's not asking you to solve the puzzle of your entire life by Tuesday. It is simply asking you to stop fighting the water. The abundance you seek is already here. It's in the air you're breathing, the technology in your hand, and the infinite potential of this very moment. But to see it, you have to open your hands. You can't receive a gift if your fists are clenched tight in a fight. Trust is not a weakness. Trust is the ultimate power. It is the courage to believe that the source that created stars and galaxies knows how to take care of you. Stop clutching. Stop splashing. Let the mud settle and watch as the universe fills your life with more than you ever dared to hustle for. Because when you truly trust, you don't have to go looking for abundance. Abundance finds you.